There is something your doctor probably has not told you. Not because they are hiding anything, but because nobody has time in a 15-minute appointment to sit with you and talk about what is growing 6 feet from your back door. The things your grandparents grew on purpose. The things that healers across centuries came back to again and again. And the things that modern research is now quietly confirming. Your arteries carry blood to every single organ in your body. Every heartbeat, every breath, every single morning you wake up and feel like yourself. That is your cardiovascular system doing its job. And the research that has accumulated over the last 2 decades points to something both humbling and hopeful. What you grow and eat in your own backyard has a measurable, beautiful effect on how well that system keeps working. Not synthetic options, not expensive supplements with ingredients you cannot pronounce. Real food, living plants. Things you can put in the ground this season, harvest yourself, and eat in your own kitchen. Today, we are going through 12 of them. Plants and foods you can actually grow in a home garden, in most American growing zones, starting right now. I will tell you what the botanical research says, how to grow it, and exactly how to prepare it. One thing I will say once and mean, I am a gardener, not a doctor. If you are managing your heart health, blood pressure, or blood pathways with conventional prescriptions, please talk to your doctor before making significant changes to your diet. That simple conversation protects you. Now, let us get into the garden. Food 1. Pomegranate. There are fruits that taste good. There are fruits that are good for you. And then, there is pomegranate, a fruit that sits in a category completely by itself when it comes to what researchers have found it does inside the human body, specifically inside the pathways of circulation. Punica granatum is hardy in USDA zones 7 through 10. In colder zones it grows beautifully in a large container, a 5-gallon pot minimum, moved indoors or into a sheltered garage before hard frost. The shrub is striking, glossy dark leaves, waxy orange-red flowers in late spring, and the deep crimson fruit that follows in fall. Dwarf varieties like Wonderful reach 6 to 8 feet and produce full-sized fruit. Even a single plant produces enough pomegranates in a mature season to supply fresh juice through the fall and frozen arils through much of the winter. The research on pomegranate and vascular vitality is some of the most specific in all of nutritional science. The active compounds, punicologens and punicic acid, are found almost exclusively in pomegranate and have been studied directly for their effect on blood vessel wall integrity. Long-term clinical observations have found that participants who incorporate pomegranate juice daily showed measurable support for the thickness and elasticity of the carotid artery wall, the primary pathway that supplies the brain. That is not just a general antioxidant effect. That is a direct, documented, measurable relationship with the vascular walls themselves. Pomegranate juice also appears to protect LDL particles from oxidation, the process by which cholesterol particles are structurally damaged by free radicals. Multiple studies have confirmed this protective effect. In fact, the overall antioxidant activity in fresh pomegranate juice has been measured at 2 to 3 times that of red wine and green tea in direct comparisons. The arils, the jewel-like seeds inside, can be eaten fresh, scattered over morning oatmeal, or pressed for juice. 8 ounces of fresh pomegranate juice daily is the amount used in most baseline studies. From your own tree, in your own fall garden, that is a preparation that costs you almost nothing, and that researchers have documented working at the deepest cellular level. Tell me in the comments, have you ever grown a pomegranate? What zone or state are you gardening in? I read every single one. Food 2. Blueberries. A handful of blueberries picked warm from the bush on a July morning. Tastes completely different from anything you buy at a grocery store. The difference is not sentiment. It is pure biology. Anthocyanins, the brilliant pigment compounds that make blueberries blue, begin degrading within hours of harvest. What you pick and eat in the same hour is structurally and nutritionally different from what sat in a warehouse or a refrigerator case for 4 days. Vaccinium corimbosum highbush blueberry is hardy in USDA zones 4 through 7. Vaccinium angustifolium, the lowbush variety, goes all the way to zone 3. Southern highbush cultivars extend the range into zones 8 and 9. There is a blueberry for almost every American backyard. They need acidic soil, a pH between 4.5 and 5.5, and full sun. Get that soil chemistry right, and they reward you with decades of fruit from the exact same plants. The research on blueberries and long-term cardiovascular health is among the most consistent in nutrition science. The flavonoids and anthocyanins in blueberries have been associated in multiple controlled studies with improved endothelial function, that is, the natural flexibility and responsiveness of the walls of your blood vessels. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that regular blueberry consumption over 8 weeks produced measurable, positive improvements in vascular flexibility scores. These are not dramatic, overnight miracles. They are the compounding returns of eating something your garden grew consistently through a whole season. Plant 2 or more varieties near each other for cross-pollination and vastly better yields. Patriot, Blue Crop, and Elliott are exceptionally reliable across a wide range of northern zones. Top Hat is a gorgeous compact variety that grows beautifully in a large container right on a patio. Once established, a mature blueberry bush is essentially maintenance-free and lives for 30 years or more. If this channel is already giving you something useful, subscribe before we hit Food 3. Hit the bell so the next video finds you automatically. Food 3, Swiss chard. There is a version of your backyard garden that is both beautiful and genuinely supportive of your vitality every single day. Swiss chard gets you there faster than almost any other plant. The stems come in golden crimson and deep magenta. The leaves are broad, glossy, and highly architectural. It is one of the most ornamental vegetables you can grow, and one of the most nutrient-dense. Beta vulgaris is exceptionally cold-hardy, heat-tolerant, and grows from Zone 3 through Zone 10 without a single complaint. Start seeds directly in the garden in spring. It grows fast, tolerates partial shade better than most vegetables, and produces continuously. Harvest the outer leaves as you need them, and the plant keeps sending up new growth from the center. One plant can feed you for an entire season. Swiss chard is extraordinarily rich in potassium, magnesium, and dietary nitrates, natural compounds that the body converts to nitric oxide. Nitric oxide gently relaxes and dilates blood vessel walls, supporting smooth circulation and easing the resistance the heart works against with every single beat. It is also one of the premier plant sources of vitamin K1, which plays a critical role in directing calcium where it belongs in the body, helping to prevent inappropriate calcium deposition within blood vessel walls. Eating leafy greens consistently across a season is one of the most documented dietary patterns associated with long-term heart longevity in population studies. The flavor is wonderfully mild and versatile, less bitter than kale, more substantial than spinach. Sauté it with fresh garlic and olive oil. Add it to soups and stews in the last few minutes of cooking, or stir it into scrambled eggs. Eat it 3 times a week through the growing season, and you will feel the difference. Food 4, tomatoes. You have grown tomatoes, or you have tried to grow tomatoes. Or perhaps you have stood at a farmer's market, smelling fresh tomatoes that reminded you of the ones from your grandmother's garden, and wondered why nothing you buy at a supermarket smells like that. The answer involves an incredible compound called lycopene, and it is worth understanding. Lycopene is the carotenoid pigment that makes tomatoes red, and it is one of the most studied plant compounds in cardiovascular research. Its particular relevance is to the protection of LDL cholesterol particles from being structurally damaged by free radicals. Multiple studies, including a major meta-analysis published in Maturitas, examining data across thousands of participants, found that higher dietary lycopene intake is associated with excellent vascular protection and long-term heart health support. And here is the part that surprises almost everyone. Lycopene becomes significantly more bioavailable when tomatoes are cooked and eaten with a small amount of healthy fat. A slow-simmered tomato sauce made with olive oil delivers lycopene in a form your body absorbs far more efficiently than a raw tomato salad. The cooking is not destroying the value. In this case, the cooking is actively unlocking it. Solanum lycopersicum grows in every American gardening zone as a warm season annual. Give them full sun, consistent moisture, and something sturdy to climb. The variety range is extraordinary. Cherry tomatoes that produce hundreds of fruits on a single plant, large slicing varieties, or paste tomatoes for sauce. San Marzano paste tomatoes, grown and processed into your own homemade sauce, are the most efficient delivery of lycopene from your garden to your body. Simmer them down with olive oil, jar them up in late August, and enjoy them all winter long. Food 5. Spinach. The research on leafy green vegetables and cardiovascular wellness is among the absolute most consistent in all of nutritional science. Across dozens of long-term population studies, people who eat leafy greens regularly show meaningfully better long-term vascular health than people who do not. Spinach sits right near the top of every list for a simple reason. The concentration of beneficial compounds per cup is exceptional. Spinacia oleracea is a cool season annual, one of the first crops you can plant in spring and one of the last still producing as fall turns to winter. It germinates in soil as cold as 35 degrees and easily tolerates frost. Because it goes to seed quickly in summer heat, you plant it in waves, early spring, then again in late summer for a fall crop, eating abundantly at both ends of the season. Spinach is packed with dietary nitrates, which convert to nitric oxide in the body to support blood vessel relaxation and maintain healthy, balanced blood pressure. It is also rich in lutein, a carotenoid linked to supporting clean, clear arterial linings, and in folate, a B vitamin essential for managing homocysteine levels within a healthy range. Eating spinach is not doing just one thing for your system. It is doing several things simultaneously, in ways that compound beautifully over time. Grow it in partial shade in warmer climates to extend your harvest. Baby spinach harvested young is mild and sweet enough to eat raw in salads. Mature leaves sautéed with garlic and finished with a squeeze of lemon are one of the simplest, most nourishing things you can put on a plate. Eat it often, your body will notice. Food 6. Kale. Kale became a major cultural phenomenon about 15 years ago in a way that made some people dismiss it as just a trend. That was a mistake. The research that prompted that enthusiasm was entirely real. It has fully held up, and kale remains one of the most productive and nutritious plants you can put in a home garden. Brassica oleracea is hardy enough in most American climates to survive light to moderate frosts, and in zones 7 through 10 it grows as a year-round crop. Lacinato kale, also called Tuscan or dinosaur kale, with its long, dark, pebbled leaves, is the most culinarily versatile and holds its texture beautifully when cooked. Red Russian kale is more tender and sweet, excellent raw, while curly kale is among the most cold-hardy of all. Kale is one of the most concentrated sources of vitamin K1 of any food in the entire garden, critically important for supporting the natural structural integrity of blood vessel walls. It is rich in sulforaphane, a compound that forms when kale is chewed or chopped, studied heavily for its tissue-soothing properties. It is also a meaningful source of plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, potassium, and fiber. A cup of fresh kale eaten regularly does more for your system than the supplement aisle can approximate. Massage raw kale with a small amount of olive oil and a pinch of salt for 5 minutes and watch what happens. It softens, sweetens, and becomes something completely different. Braise it slowly with garlic and a splash of broth until silky. One plant produces leaves for months, feeding a household through fall and into winter without replanting. Food 7. Hot peppers. This one surprises a lot of people. Hot peppers on a list about arterial health and circulation. But the research, when you look at it, makes complete sense, because the unique compound that creates heat in a pepper does something very specific and well documented in the body. That has nothing to do with how it feels in your mouth. Capsaicin, the active compound in hot peppers, has been studied extensively for its effect on circulation, metabolic health, and vascular protection. Research published in the British Journal of Nutrition found clear associations between capsaicin consumption and excellent systemic antioxidant support. A large observational study published in PLOS One found that people who incorporated hot peppers into their regular diet displayed a significantly higher baseline for long-term heart longevity and overall vitality. Capsicum annuum grows as a warm season annual in every American zone. Hot peppers actually prefer slightly lean growing conditions. Giving them less water, once established, encourages higher capsaicin production, which means a more potent, useful pepper. Cayenne, which is both highly productive and moderately hot, is the most versatile for kitchen use. Jalapeno for fresh eating and ancho or poblano for roasting and drying. Dry your cayenne peppers and grind them into your own powder. Add a small amount to soups, stews, and marinades. You do not need much. Consistent, modest amounts over time are exactly what the evidence supports. A pinch of cayenne in your morning oatmeal, a dash in your evening soup. Have you ever grown hot peppers? Tell me your favorite variety and your zone in the comments below. Food 8. Asparagus. There is a category of garden plant that asks for patience exactly once, and then repays that patience every single spring for the rest of your life. Asparagus is in that category. You plant it once, you wait 2 seasons. And then, for the next 20 to 30 years, it comes back completely on its own every spring without you lifting a finger, bringing with it a compound profile that researchers find genuinely incredible. Asparagus officinalis is hardy in Usta zones 3 through 8. Plant crowns, the bare root bundles available in early spring, in a trench 8 inches deep, in full sun with fast-draining soil. Cover them, water them in, and resist harvesting for the first 2 seasons to let the root system establish deeply. The cardiovascular relevance of asparagus centers on a powerful bioflavonoid called rutin, found in meaningful concentrations in the spears, studied for its ability to support blood vessel wall strength and vascular flexibility. Asparagus also naturally supports the kidneys in managing fluid balance throughout the body, helping to maintain relaxed, comfortable pressure against blood vessel walls. And unlike synthetic options, asparagus does this while naturally providing potassium, beautifully balancing your system's natural mineral levels. Harvest spears in spring when they reach 6 to 8 inches tall. The season is short, but highly abundant. Steam them simply, and eat them with olive oil and lemon, or roast them at high heat until the tips are just beginning to crisp. The flavor of asparagus you cut this morning and cook this afternoon is a genuine pleasure that no store-bought version can ever match. Plant it once and enjoy it for decades. Food 9. Arugula. Arugula has been enjoyed in the Mediterranean for thousands of years, celebrated as a vitality food long before modern nutritional science existed to explain why. What we know now is that arugula contains some of the highest concentrations of dietary nitrates found in any leafy green on Earth, putting it squarely at the center of conversations around blood vessel flexibility and natural circulatory support. Aruca vesicaria is a cool season annual and one of the fastest crops in the entire garden. You can harvest baby arugula as early as 3 weeks from seed. It grows best in spring and fall, bolting to flower quickly in summer heat. That bolt is not a failure. The flowers are entirely edible, beautifully peppery, and stunning scattered over a plate. Let a few plants go fully to seed, and you will have arugula volunteering in every corner of your garden the following spring without planting a single thing. The distinctive peppery, slightly sharp flavor comes from glucosinolate compounds, and the pathway from dietary nitrates to nitric oxide to relaxed, responsive blood vessel walls is incredibly well established in this plant. Eat it consistently through the seasons, and you are adding a powerful layer of natural vascular support. Eat it simply. A plate of fresh arugula, a drizzle of good olive oil, a squeeze of fresh lemon. That is one of the best things you can put on a table. Add it to warm pasta off the heat, where it wilts slightly, or use it anywhere you would use standard salad greens. Food 10. Nasturtiums. Most people do not know you can eat these. They grow them purely as a companion plant, or for a pop of color, walking past the flowers and leaves, without realizing that both are entirely edible, and that the leaves carry a compound profile that makes them an absolute wellness asset. Tropaeolum majus is a fast-growing annual that thrives in almost any American zone, in poor soil, with minimal water, in full sun to part shade. Direct sow seeds after last frost. Within a few weeks, you have a sprawling, cheerful plant covered in round, lily pad-shaped leaves and brilliant flowers. It requires almost no attention and does not need fertilizer. In fact, rich soil pushes it toward more leaves and fewer flowers. It is one of the most undemanding plants in existence. The leaves are exceptionally high in glucosinolates, sulfur compounds in the same chemical family as those found in kale and broccoli, studied extensively for their anti-inflammatory and protective properties. The flowers are rich in vibrant carotenoids. Both have a wonderful, peppery, sharp flavor that adds genuine character to your meals. Toss the flowers into salads for a burst of color and a mild peppery bite, or use the broad leaves as a creative wrap. 1 packet of nasturtium seeds grows enough to share with every neighbor on your street, and they self-seed readily to return year after year. Food 11. Sunflowers. Almost everyone has grown a sunflower at some point. Almost nobody has grown one thinking about what the seed inside it does for their long-term vascular vitality. That gap between what this plant is known for and what it actually carries is worth closing. Helianthus annuus grows in every American zone as a warm season annual, direct sow after last frost in full sun. They are extraordinarily drought-tolerant once established, virtually pest-free, and produce abundantly. Mammoth varieties reach 10 to 12 feet tall, while oil-type varieties like Paretovic are more compact and produce seeds with the highest oil content, which is where the vast majority of the protective value lives. Sunflower seeds are one of the absolute richest plant sources of vitamin E you can grow in a backyard garden. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant studied extensively for its role in protecting cholesterol particles from oxidative stress, a fundamental step in maintaining clean, smooth blood vessel pathways. Sunflower seeds also contain natural plant sterols, compounds that compete with dietary cholesterol for absorption in the digestive system, effectively supporting healthy, balanced lipid profiles in the bloodstream. Both mechanisms work beautifully in the direction of long-term vascular flexibility. Harvest the seed heads in late summer when the back of the head turns yellow. Cut the head, hang it in a dry, well-ventilated space for 2 weeks, then rub the seeds free. Eat them raw as a daily handful, add them to fresh salads, or press them into homemade sunflower butter. The seeds you grew and dried yourself have a rich freshness that packaged store brands cannot replicate. Food 12. Green beans. Every plant on this list does something specific and documented. This one does something quieter, more foundational, and incredibly important. It adds beneficial fiber and plant protein to your diet, in a form that most people actually enjoy eating, at a cost that approaches zero. Phaseolus vulgaris, the common green bean, is one of the most productive and foolproof crops in the home garden. Bush varieties produce a concentrated harvest over a few weeks. Pole varieties produce continuously for 2 to 3 months from a single planting. A small row of pole beans feeds a family through summer and into fall with minimal effort. The cardiovascular case for regular legume consumption is one of the most durable findings in long-term nutritional research. The famous PREDIM study, one of the largest and most rigorous long-term nutrition trials ever conducted, found that traditional diets rich in regular legume consumption significantly supported long-term heart longevity compared to standard control diets. Natural fiber from legumes feeds the gut microbiome, which in turn produces short-chain fatty acids that support a healthy, balanced inflammatory response throughout the body, including the blood vessel walls. Blanch them and eat them cold in a fresh summer salad with vinaigrette. Cook them slowly in olive oil with garlic until completely tender, or add them to comforting autumn stews. Eating them fresh off the vine, still warm from the afternoon sun, is a genuine pleasure that no grocery store on earth can replicate. Grow them, eat them often, and share your abundance with those around you. 3 rules before you plant anything. Rule 1. Start with what you will actually eat. The most powerful food in your garden is the one you actually harvest and put in your body. A garden full of plants you do not know how to cook is a garden full of good intentions that simply composts itself in August. Start with the 2 or 3 foods on this list that you already enjoy. Get comfortable growing them, then add 1 new thing each season. Rule 2. Master succession planting. One of the most common frustrations in food gardening is a massive harvest followed by nothing. The solution is succession planting, so small amounts of the same crop every 2 to 3 weeks instead of all at once. This is especially important for cool season crops like spinach, arugula, and chard, ensuring a steady supply of nutrition across the entire season. Rule 3. Grow the rainbow. The research on dietary variety and heart vitality consistently points in the same direction. Diverse diets, rich in a wide range of colorful plant foods, outperform narrower diets built around any single ingredient. Pomegranate and blueberries protect against oxidation. Spinach and arugula support blood vessel relaxation. Asparagus clears excess fluid while replacing potassium. They work through complementary, beautiful mechanisms. Grow color, eat variety, and let the whole garden work together. You just spent a wonderful time with 12 foods that your backyard can grow, that your kitchen can prepare, and that the research consistently connects to excellent vascular health. This is a season-long strategy for eating in a way that supports the most important system in your body, built from seeds, soil, and your own two hands. If even one food on this list is going in your ground or your pot this season, subscribe right now, because next time we go just as deep. Real garden knowledge, real nutritional context, and real information that connects you to a way of eating your grandparents understood, and modern research is finally catching up to. Hit subscribe, hit the bell, and before you go, drop one comment. Tell me which food from this list you are growing first. Tell me your zone or your state. I read every single one, and your answers directly shape what comes next on this channel. This is your garden. This is your health. The season is open right now. Go grow something.